It looks like a pair of trousers that learned to walk. Pale, lanky legs slide across lawns and sidewalks with an almost effortless, otherworldly gait. No torso, no arms, no head. Just two long, pale columns moving in sync, like a slow, ghostly march under the wash of infrared light. The story begins not with a full moon and a circle of storytellers, but with a lone security camera mounted to a house somewhere in Fresno County in the early 2000s. The footage that circulated online shows small pale figures moving in the monochrome glow of night vision. One passes in front of a lawn, another crosses a driveway. No footprints, no daytime photos, no higher resolution originals. Just brief silhouettes that melt back into shadow. For anything that might rewrite field guides, the material evidence is thin. There is video, yes, a handful of short, low-resolution clips, and there are witnesses limited mostly to a camera box or someone watching a monitor, not to people confronting an odd creature at close range. The Fresno County Sheriff's Office and local investigators acknowledged the clips and released some material, but they could not pinpoint an origin. And so the question remains, what are we really looking at? Before leaping to monsters or miracles, it helps to look at the camera. Especially at night, cameras do more than record reality, they reshape it. Cheap security cameras increase exposure time to gather more light, which blurs motion into soft streaks. Infrared LEDs give faces and fabrics a flat, pale tone. Image sensors introduce noise, and in response, the camera's software aggressively smooths and averages pixels. Then the file gets compressed to save space, and compression throws away subtle details in favor of big shapes. The result is a version of the scene stripped down to its bones. Vertical sweeps, bright stains of light, and the suggestion of limbs where there may be none. That same blend of long exposure, infrared glow, smoothing, and compression can turn ordinary things into uncanny shapes. A flag flapping against a post, a sheet snagged on a fence, a pair of pants draped over a wire, each can read as a strange bipedal silhouette when recorded under the wrong conditions. Human perception does the rest. Our brains are wired to find patterns in noise. We see faces in clouds and figures in TV static. Given a minimal vertical sweep that vaguely approximates legs, it's easy to fill in the rest. Skeptics have done more than theorize. They've built reproductions. Take a pair of loose trousers fastened to a thin frame or wire and move it across a lawn under an infrared camera. The low-light sensor struggles to capture detail, and the pants collapse into two pale vertical strokes that look remarkably close to the originals. Other recreations use mannequins, mop handles, or a person concealed behind a sheet. Some experimenters have gone further, adding in simulated grain and artifacting using modern editing tools, so the fake clip looks authentically old. Those tests demonstrate a simple point. With the right setup, everyday materials and basic camera quirks can be coaxed into producing images. Indistinguishable at first glance from the Nightcrawler footage, but the skeptical case is not a slam dunk, and that's key to why the story has staying power. To many viewers, there is a quality of motion in the clips that looks purposeful, almost independent. The figures appear to glide with a cadence that implies balance and intent rather than a thing dragged on a wire. And because the original footage is so brief and the camera viewpoints limited, it is hard to run definitive forensic tests on provenance. There are no high-resolution frames to analyze, no DNA samples, no clear daytime sightings to compare. The sheriff's office can confirm the recordings exist. They can't confirm what was recorded. When evidence is sparse, imagination fills the gap. For some, the Nightcrawler is an undiscovered creature, evolved for the night with a body plan so efficient it looks wrong. Long, thin legs could minimize energy use and exposure. Some enthusiasts speculate, allowing an animal to slide across lawns without obvious contact points. Others go further, invoking interdimensional theories, brief crossings between worlds, where our cameras catch a sliver of another reality and the rest slips away. These ideas are less about biology than about wonder, about the appetite for stories that explain the unexplained in grand terms. That appetite has shaped the Nightcrawler into something larger than a few odd videos. On social media, it became a meme. It showed up in art, in short films, and as a recurring riff in documentaries and late-night shows. People designed plush toys and t-shirts. Hobbyists recreated the footage frame by frame. Paranormal enthusiasts included the clips in compilations of unexplained phenomena. Each retelling adds layers, commentary tracks, reconstructions, interviews, and elaborate theories. A handful of frames expands into a dossier of possibilities, and then into a cultural touchstone. The way the Nightcrawler spread shows how easily modern media can turn a single, ambiguous image into shared folklore. In earlier eras, a strange sighting might have traveled by word of mouth, filtered and reshaped by each teller. Now a clip is copied, compressed, shared, and annotated within hours. Comment sections become collaborative laboratories where people test hypotheses and trade practical effects tips. That collaborative energy is a strength. It democratizes investigation, invites skeptical tests, and surfaces amateur expertise, but it also accelerates the spread of certainty without proof. A viral clip can feel like a verdict even when it's only a single low-quality recording. So what's the sensible middle ground? Start with curiosity and pair it with standards. Treat the footage as interesting but inconclusive. Look at the conditions of the recording and ask what the camera might have added to the image. Check for provenance, who filmed it, who first posted it, and whether higher quality originals exist. Try recreation, seek expert analysis where possible, from image forensics to biomechanics. And remember a basic principle of evidence: extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof. A blurry silhouette can inspire 1,000 stories, but without corroborating physical evidence, it remains a story. That ambiguity is not a failing, it's the engine that keeps the nightcrawler alive. We are drawn to puzzles, and a gap between appearance and explanation invites participation. The clip becomes a test of how we look, how fast we jump to conclusions, and how much weight we give to what our screens show us. In that sense, the Nightcrawler is a lesson about seeing in the age of surveillance and smartphones. Our monsters now live in pixels and file formats as much as in forests and caves. There's also a creative upside to the mystery. The Nightcrawler demonstrates how new folklore is born. In decades past, folk tales and local legends grew out of shared experiences around hearths and pubs. Today, they grow out of shared feeds and comment threads. That changes the texture of storytelling, but not its core function. When a community gathers around a mystery, it tells us something about human curiosity. We want to explain, to test, to imagine alternatives. We want to tell the story of the moment when the world seemed slightly stranger than before. If you want to make up your own mind, there are practical steps. Start with the footage, watch it closely, then watch it again. Note the camera angle and how the light behaves. Look for continuity errors or sudden cuts that might suggest editing. Read the chain of custody. Where did the clip first appear, and who released it? Search for recreations and comparisons that test competing hypotheses. And if you can, try replicating it yourself. Even crude experiments with fabric, wire, and a low-light camera reveal how easy it is to produce similar silhouettes. We've linked several analyses and recreations in the description below. Forensic breakdowns of the original clips, side-by-side reconstructions, and demonstrations of how low-light cameras render shape and motion. Watch those, decide what you find convincing. Tell us what you think. Do the Nightcrawlers look like a prank, a camera quirk, or something else entirely? For now, when you watch that pale, silent procession glide across a lawn, remember what's at stake. A single grainy video can be both an invitation to wonder and a test of how carefully we look. It can teach us to ask better questions about evidence, to value physical proof, and to be generous with curiosity without surrendering standards of proof. That combination, curiosity anchored to critical thinking, is perhaps the truest kind of mystery for our connected age. If you enjoyed this deep dive, like the video and subscribe for more clear-eyed looks at viral mysteries. Leave your take in the comments and hit the bell to be notified when we drop a follow-up episode. In that next video, we'll compare the Fresno clips with other low-light oddities and run a few of the most convincing recreations ourselves. Until then, keep watching carefully.